put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. He got the idea to take it in a bigger animal. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? Checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors. They said, well, since this is electromagnetic radiation and they begin done wirelessly, what if we did it through light through screens? And that's the reason why all your computer screens have the frequencies they have. Well, the person that set this meeting up between me and Bobby is the patent attorney that made sure that Google and Meta have those things. Where did the original idea come from? The mafia in Las Vegas. They wanted to build a new city in a desert, invented slot machines that were blue lit, found out that they didn't have to take a gun, stick it in your face to steal your money. Got smart, they said, let's give people free alcohol. That's really how it started. I did my residency at LSU, and down in the basement we had a linear accelerator. Linear accelerator is something that is involved in nuclear physics. The hospital that I was in was a small little wispy hospital. So I finally asked a question, why do we have a $100 million machine in this hospital that clearly can't afford it? The story was that the CIA bought this linear accelerator because of the programs that I mentioned to you at Tulane. The name of this hospital is called Ochsner Medical Foundation. I did 2 years of my residency there. Have you ever wondered, anybody in the room, why Jonas Salk never won a Nobel Prize? Jonas Salk was tied to a pharmaceutical company called Cutter Pharmaceuticals, and this is, remember, 1951. We didn't discover DNA until 1953. She worked for the FBI and the CIA. The original goal of Dr. Ochsner was to try to figure out a way to solve this problem that he, in fact, caused by rolling out the linear accelerator was brought by the CIA and placed in a place called a U.S. Public Health Hospital. And this is across the street from Children's Hospital in New Orleans on Henry Clay Boulevard. Why do I know all this? Because I did my residency there. And it looks like a military installation. At the same time, a lady named Sarah Stewart, who went to the University of Chicago, she was an expert in viruses causing cancer. At a time, nobody believed it. She was kind of like the black sheep of her day, like I'm the black sheep of mine today. And she was recruited by Dr. Ochsner. At that time, she was reassigned from the NIH to the U.S. Public Health Hospital. And at the same time, an orthopedic surgeon named Mary Stewart, they're not related, but they went to medical school together. She was an expert in nuclear physics. She also was an expert in bone cancer. To this very day, her stuff is still cited. They both were brought to Ochsner Medical Foundation, and then covert research was begun. What was the goal? They tried to cure the cancer they caused, but instead they found something interesting. Every time they used electromagnetic radiation on SV40, and remember, this is before they knew anything about DNA, they found that the cancers got worse and worse and worse. And instead of getting it better, they made it worse. And the reason now, in modern molecular biology, we know X radiation or high energy particles breaks DNA up into little pieces. Okay? So they created a bunch of little pieces. So 1959 comes along. Bernice Eddy is at a New York Academy Science meeting and drops the bomb in front of an audience just like this. People that knew about what was going on with the polio vaccine, but they didn't know that the polio vaccine had SV40 in it. She decided to out it to the public because she felt what was going on behind the scenes was kind of dastardly. And you'll find in centralized medicine, this happens quite often, not just about vaccines, about a lot of other things like cholesterol and heart disease and neurodegeneration. But that's not what this talk is about. So the next step that happens, in 1959, Fidel Castro has a revolution in Cuba. He takes the island over. All of the guys that were most pissed off were guys in the mob. They lost all their casinos. Other people that were pissed off, Guys like Dr. Oshner don't like communists. The reason why is Dr. Oshner's hospital, even when I was a resident there, used to have all the flags of Central American and South American countries because he took care of all the dictators around the world. He was also very ultra right-wing conservative. It's the reason why he was friends with Nixon and Ronald Reagan. And